Welcome to the new Hypeman Show Live with your host and professional crappie angler, Mr. Zeke Anderson. Hey, we're talking all things crappie, including tournaments, baits, electronics, tips, tricks, and more. The Hypeman Show Live is brought to you by none other than the Bass Tank. And now, here's the hype man himself, Mr. Zeke Anderson.
What's going on, folks? Zeke here, back at you live from the Bass Tank World headquarters for our 5th episode of the Hype Man Show. Real quick, thanks to Beat Down Outdoors, Garmin Electronics, and obviously the Bass Tank for supporting the show. Man, I've got a special guest for you guys today, a friend of mine that I've known for quite a few years now. When I first started tournament crappie fishing, this guy was running the club back then, and he is the 2020 American Crappie Trail National Champion, along with his brother. Brian Young's coming on the show. He fishes with his brother Darren Young. Brian is the younger, worse looking brother. What's going on with you?
How are y'all, man? How are you doing, Zeke?
Man, hanging in there. Not as good as you. You're out on the water.
I'm out on the water. I'm just doing some scouting for some upcoming trips. But yeah, that's just kind of what I do every day. So yeah, I'm here.
Man, those of you that don't know, Brian and his guide business, you follow Boys Guide Service, right?
Yes, sir. That's it.
If you guys are looking for a guide on Lake Eufaula or surrounding waters, hit this guy up. He's going to put you on some fish. Even on his days off, he's still out there finding new fish for his clients. So
yeah, always, man. They move every day, so we gotta stay on top of them.
And we ain't going to talk about where he is right now because he's in my favorite hole on that lake. So I don't need anybody saying that. What's going on, Keith Young? Craig Crystal, what's up? Joey Johnson, two of the best right there on the screen. Yeah, Joey, appreciate you, man. Thank you guys all for jumping on. Brian, I want to start out. I introduce you. Dan Langston's on here. What's up, dude? Golly, Dan, I miss you. I hope you're feeling better. Brian, you won 2020, correct?
Yeah, it was the COVID year. They had to move the tournament from the spring to the summer, and we were able to get lucky enough to win that on Sardis Lake in Mississippi. Yeah,
American Crappie Trail National Champion with his brother. How special was that moment?
That was pretty awesome. And what people don't know is we did the same thing just about every day of pre-fishing, and it just got better and better for us all the way to Championship Saturday. And we just, we made the right moves. You're gonna obviously not win as many tournaments as you lose. I won't say you lose, but you're gonna win a few if you stick with it. But it just, man, everything, stars lined up, and I tell people the fish were jumping in the boat. So
you made them jump in the boat that day. You and Darren both.
Yeah, we got on a good area and we stuck with it. And guys were super courteous, during that time. And we kind of come from behind. First day we were in 5th, second day we were in 2nd, and the guy leading was Kevin Rogers, and I think most people know who he is. And he never got in our area, we never got in his area, and man, it just worked out for us.
Did those fish stay in place for you all 3 days, or did you kind of have to follow them around?
We were lucky enough to get on a good sack of fish on the 2nd day, and I told Darren, I said, we need to go find good fish. So we never stopped pre-fishing, in a sense. The 2nd day at noon, we had a good sack of fish, and it kind of allowed us to go look around for a kicker fish. And when we were looking around for a kicker fish, we found another group of fish that we could use on Saturday. And man, it worked out for us. So
it's a good point. I like what you said there, how you never stopped pre-fishing. I mean, multi-day tournaments, I think that is something that a lot of people don't think about, is just because you're on fish one day doesn't mean they're going to be there the next day. So you better be prepared.
Right.
And still looking and still finding, like you said, kicker fish.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Austin,
do what now?
Austin Odell just commented, "Nice beanie." That's because he's in the office next door to me with the same one on.
Yeah, I don't have the hair you do, Zeke. I'm a beanie guy, and I've got a butt. It's a necessity in my life.
Keep that dome protected.
Yes, sir.
I cut all mine off, man. It still feels weird. I like it though.
Yeah, and
So
it's yeah. Go ahead.
so you got your fishing ACT National Championship. You and Darren, you're sitting in. Did you say second after day two?
Second after day two, Kevin was
So,
leading,
so
and
going into day three,
yeah.
I mean, what was the night before like? What was the planning session like? Or I know you're super laid back, so I know how you probably treated it. But what was there nerves? Was there, adrenaline running? Did you get any sleep?
uh, I was okay. It was a routine for me. We're ex athletes, so everything I do, the best tip I could give anybody is whatever your routine is when you go fishing every day. It doesn't matter if you're just going fishing in your backyard or you're fishing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Uh, do the same thing all the time. That way you don't make mistakes, you don't break anything. And of course, my brother, he's a little more high strung than I am, so he was a little on edge that last day. So hang on just a second, Zeke.
You might be catching a fish here. I don't know. Brian's out scouting some water for upcoming guide trips, so appreciated him taking a little time here to jump on. If you guys are just joining us, we're talking about the ACT National Championship that he won, and then we're going to go into a little bit and talking about fish care.
I'm back.
You back?
I'm back.
So, just telling the folks, I want to talk a little bit about because I know that you put a lot into this on how you guys care for your fish.
Absolutely, and we've been through live well. We've made a lot of mistakes. Our first year on the ACT, we were on Grenada, late summer fish, and Darren had a few big ones in the live well, and they died on us. So we had to learn how to keep fish alive, and what better guy to ask than Ronnie Capps, and pick his brain about anything crappie fishing, but especially about taking care of those crappie. In shallow water, in deep water, muddy water, different bodies of water that we get to fish all over the nation. The fish they behave differently, but there's a certain way to keep them alive. And if you're catching a fish deep, there's a certain way to care for them there. If you're catching fish in hot water, there's a certain way to care for them there. So but yeah, we had to learn. We had to learn, and we started out in the live well, and we lost some fish, and then Darren got he kind of picked Ronnie's brain a little bit, and we went to an ice chest, insulated, cool the water off, G juice, and then we run pure oxygen on the fish, and that really seemed to help us out. And then now, Diesel and I, we fish the OCAC and the Crappie Masters. We started running those the little Bub Daddy aerators now, which is the oxygen infuser, and cool the water off, kept them in the live well, and run those infusers. And I think there's a certain amount of air you put in your live well for that fish to get comfortable, and you just got to pay attention to how they act. If they're down, if the water's kind of calm, crappie like calm water, and there's
I lost audio. Can you hear me, Brian? Hold on. I've lost audio here. Give me 1 second. Let me get this figured out. Do you have
your AirPods?
Do you have audio?
Yeah, choose your AirPods on the screen.
I still can't hear anything. If you guys can hear me, we're having a little internet issue here at the shop.
It says network connection on his end now. Yeah. Have him call back in.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me? You can't hear me. Did you just X him out?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey, guys, stick with me here. We're going to have Brian try clicking back in. I think that Brian's out on the lake, so he's probably having some internet connectivity issues. So appreciate you guys sticking with us here, and see if I can get him back. We were talking about fish care. What's up, Wesley Miller? Big Sasquatch is on here. Try to get Brian Young back on here. But since Wesley is on here, I can use this time to talk about a tournament he's got going on with his partner, Justin Smart. This weekend. Hey, Brian, you back?
I'm back.
All right. I think it's just some connectivity issues out there on the water.
Okay, I've got 3 bars now. I think it was 2 on the other side of that stump. So
Gotcha. Don't tell them where the stump is. All right, it's my favorite
okay.
stump.
Well, there's a lot
I
of
think
them right now.
I think John caught a 2.5 pounder off that stump last year. I caught a 262. That's my biggest Eufaula fish ever, right where you're at.
That's right. Yes, sir.
There's no fish in there today, though.
Nope.
All right, so we were talking about fish care. You use a large insulated ice chest, cool the water down, G-juice, oxygen, the whole 9 yards, and you've had huge success with that. Where is that at on your boat? Do you strap it down like on top of your live well in the back of the boat or something?
Yeah, we strap it down, and it's just because, if you've got a newer boat with new insulated ice live wells, it's going to work great. But if you're in an older boat and you're not real sure about keeping fish alive in those older boats, get you an ice chest. We had I think I got a $40 igloo off of Marketplace, drove up to Skytug, got it off the guy. We drilled a hole in top of it. Darren got all the necessary parts, high pressure that oxygen stone, oxygen from from air gas is where we got it. So really costly effective. I think Darren had like $250 in the whole setup. And that was crucial for us keeping our fish alive. And it's funny that you asked me about this, because the final day at 1:30, Darren and I got in a brotherly fight over the fish. And he said, I'm telling you, we got a good sack of fish. And we got one stressing and we need to go now. And when we left, we were weighing in Batesville, and it was about a 30-minute drive from the dam. And he was really, really worried about from 1:30 to the time we got to check in. He was really stressed out about losing a big fish, because we thought we had it maybe one, just depending on what Kevin had done. So, yeah, that was a stressful drive.
Oh, I could only imagine, man. I've been there.
That's right.
Lake, we had some fish. You put 7 giants in a live well. It's always stressful, especially when you're in contention. And that's about the only thing I can think about is, please let these fish survive the boat run back, the truck ride back, whatever it is.
That's right.
So,
you're the guy back there, giving them that tender loving care, making sure, I'm the guy up there fishing, but Darren was the guy back there dealing with the fish. So.
Oh yeah. I do most of our fish care on the boat with me and Dylan for sure. And it's probably just because I'm so anal about it. And, I was lucky getting to fish with John last year. He taught me a lot about fish care and, what he's learned over the years in the bass world. And so I had a good good teacher there. And we do a lot of the same things that you do, just without the cooler.
Yeah.
But we,
Yeah.
we'll start on the hot days. We'll put a bag of ice in each side of the live well, fill that sucker up, so that water's cooled down, like you said, and never recirculate the water,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that
that's right.
water stays cool.
Honestly, Darren likes culling them out of that big ice chest better than Diesel
Oh,
does too.
yeah.
I've taught Diesel how to take care of the fish, and he does that. He's my son. He started at 12 years old, and he was learning how to take care of them. And he it's just more room. We had a white ice chest where you could see down there, and you could pick your color, pick your number, get that fish, throw that one out. Because Darren and I, we argue all the time, and I'd say we only keep 7. Darren keeps 8, and in ACT rules, you can't when your boat touches the dock, the bank, the bunks of the trailer, you can only have 7 in your boat.
Yeah.
So, we've just made it a habit to keep 7 because guys will make those common mistakes of going to the scales with 8 fish and getting a DQ, and they feel real bad about that mistake. But really, they need to understand that is a real common mistake. It happens a lot more than people realize.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it happens at the club level, the national level, at a jackpot. I mean, and it's happened to some absolute hammers out there. I won't say names. I don't want to embarrass people, but I've got some close friends that have done it.
That's right.
And it has really cost them. So, um,
Yeah.
you guys got to be anal about that stuff. Counting your fish care, keeping them alive. Worst thing that can happen is having a big fish die.
Yeah, I
We
know
had
this. The story is from Ronnie Capps. They were fishing Kentucky Lake years ago, and he come up in the parking lot just as sick as he could be, and he just said, "I couldn't keep them alive," and every one of his fish died.
Yeah.
And it was just a different body of water where he had to do some research and learn how to take care of those fish. So
Wesley Miller just commented, "I did it, so I can call him out, I guess." Big Sasquatch over there, and I'll quickly tell the story of what happened to him and his partner Justin. They went to fish a pro crappie trail tournament on Lake Fork, and had a giant sack of fish. Fought wind, fought hard to catch those fish, and I guarantee you they will never make the mistake again. They brought 8 to the scale, and Dan Langston, who I don't know if he's still on here, but he's the one that caught it. He was running that trail, so tough pill to swallow right there.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Guys, don't feel bad if it ever happens to you. It's happened to all of us. So
keep your head up, and keep fishing. And if
That's
you're
right.
fishing a multi-day tournament, go out the next day and fish. I mean, you're DQ'd for that day. Your fish don't count, but you still go out there because you can always learn. Keep learning.
Keep learning. Exactly right.
So we got let's see, Norman Bond's on here. What's up, Norm? Reggie Donner, good friend of Brian's and myself. Always good to see Reggie. Brandon Townsell, William Whetstone. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Let's see, John Fomar had a question for you, Brian, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. What is your setting on your oxygen regulator?
It is 0.06 with fish,
0.06,
which would be an 8. I think is that right? The regulator on ours is 0.03, where it's barely coming out. 0.06 when you have 7 fish in there, I believe is the setting.
So do you adjust it based on how many fish you have in there?
We turn it on. That thing has to be pressured up real high. And really, my brother is the expert on this because he has really went to school on all this. But we'll turn it all the way up, get it coming through there. It looks like a Sprite fizz, like you open a bottle of Sprite, it comes up. That's what you want. And then we high pressure it all the way up, get it coming through there, and then back it back down to 0.0. I think 0.03 was like for minnows, and 0.06 was for fish when you had fish in the well. Yep.
I'm going to throw this out there because Brian and I discussed this the other night. We're both on the board for the Oklahoma Crappie Anglers Club. You guys need to check this club out if you haven't. Awesome club here in Oklahoma, and we will be doing at some point, I'm confident, a live feed discussing fish care.
Yep.
And we will have all of this stuff dialed in for you guys. So check out Oklahoma Crappie Anglers Club on Facebook if you don't follow them already. Follow them, and you'll get to see some of these live feeds that we do from that page, talking about just really diving more in depth to tournament fishing and different methods and fish care and culling and all that stuff. So
Yeah, we want guys to be successful when they join our club. We want them to know. We want the knowledge to be there for them to use and for them to utilize to keep their fish alive. If they have a great day, we're rooting for them. Even when we're fishing against them, we're rooting for them. We want the guys that had the best day on the water to bring those fish alive and be able to return them back to the lake.
yeah,
If we can. So
and we do have that implemented now at the club level where we release the 7 fish, unless we know that they're going to die. There's no sense in wasting it to the turtles, but so we try to do our best to keep them alive as a club and as anglers. So, but check it out, guys. OCAC, Oklahoma Crappie Anglers Club. It's good stuff. We put a lot of good content out there. What's going on? Dan Robinson's on here. What's up, Dan? Uh, William Whetstone. Yeah, good point. I can't believe we missed this. Belly weights help a lot too. Do you use belly weights, Brian?
sometimes when we catching fish deep, we'll use belly weights, but we are very strict on taking those belly weights off before we even go to the bank, because in a tournament setting you don't want belly weights in your sack which you're weighing and making you look like you're not following the rules. So we've really stressed, Darren and I stress that we are taking everything off. When we go to the bank, we take cull tags off, we take anything, jewelry, any of that stuff that we put on there to help that fish be alive, we're taking it off before we even go to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My favorite belly weights that I have found, I only know one place to get them. It's at Thump Crappie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the alligator clip ones because they tend to get kicked off the fish all the time. But I know Donnie Carter over there at Thump Crappie has got some killer belly weights with clips that hold up and stay on really well. So if
I
you guys are
know
looking for some, you can check those out.
I know that there's not too many lakes in Oklahoma where we catch them like Kentucky Lake deep, but Ronnie Caps has got a video on YouTube of teaching you how to fizz a crappie properly, where you take a hypodermic needle and it shows you exactly where to stick it into the fish without killing the fish, deflating that bladder and then putting them in the live well, and they continue to live. Which has been a highly viewed video on YouTube by all of us that wanted to know. And I'm, B&M Poles has a fish checker. They made an extra large fish checker where not only can we measure those bigger, thicker crappie, that it has a slot in there where shows you if it's a 14-inch fish, it shows you where to stick that hypodermic needle in there. If it's a 15-inch fish, it shows you where to stick it in there. So it's a very, very good product.
That's really cool. Who makes that? B&M?
B&M. Yeah, I've got one.
I hadn't seen that. That's really cool because that's always the question when you have to fizz fish. You want to hit the right spot.
See, this. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the fish checker. It's oversized, but the slot is right here.
Interesting.
See, this would be the length of the fish here, and then if he's like right here at 14 inches long, there, you can just go to 14 inches here, and that's where you stick your needle in.
That is a dang cool product right there.
Yep.
I hadn't seen that.
Yep.
I will be getting one of those. I don't like fishing deep. I know you don't like fishing deep either, but sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to. If you go to lakes like Kentucky Lake or Dale Hollow or some of these, Table Rock, you need to catch them deep. Yep.
Oh yeah, Table Rock. Last year we were catching 25 to 33 foot deep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another key to catching them deep is to don't jerk them up out of the water.
That's
Just,
it.
slowly bring them up, while obviously keeping tension on the fish, and that'll help keep them alive as well. So
Now, you hate to do this, but the old timers have said if you'll take that fish, throw him in the bottom of the boat, and let him flop around a little bit for about a minute or two, he'll he'll burp himself and then put him in the live. That's hard to do when you've got a big fish for a lot of money to let him flop around the bottom of the boat.
I am not sure I could do it, man. I don't know if I could do it. I'm gonna get me a B&M fizzer and do it that way. But that's kind of the problem with I don't have a lot of practice fizzing fish because here where we live in Oklahoma, we don't have to catch them deep most of the time. So we don't get to practice that skill set. So it's definitely something when I'm traveling I need to focus on.
And I think that, Live Scope has opened up a whole new new world of catching fish that, maybe some of those big black crappie at some of certain times of the year, maybe they live deep and or just big crappie in those clear lakes, and maybe we might be missing some huge crappie in those areas that we haven't discovered yet. So I don't
I
know.
agree with that. No,
Yeah.
I agree. There's definitely, I think every year the guys are out there doing it a lot are putting together new patterns on fish that we've never found before. So
That's right. That's right.
it's pretty cool what the technology has helped us figure out.
Yeah, the Crappie USA National Championship was on Hartwell in South Carolina, and it's deep and clear.
Yeah,
And we have a local friend, me and you, Zeke, Frank, and they went down there and
yeah,
won that thing. And
yeah.
I just hearing stories about that. They catch them deep on that lake. So
It was awesome. Man, I was so happy for Frank
yeah,
Hydrosek winning that national championship, dude. I know he was fired up. It's Veterans Day. Thank you to all of our veterans, by the
yeah,
way. Frank's a veteran. That's why that clicked in my head. But so thank you to everybody that has served. It is appreciated by all of us, and I know it allows us the opportunities we have now. So
yeah. God bless the veterans, man. That sacrifice was awesome, awesome.
yeah. Hey, Norman Vaughn, he said he's looking forward to the trip he's got booked with you. I didn't know Norm booked you.
He did. He's wanting to do a trophy trip. So them guys are looking to put fish on the wall, and we've been down that road, Zeke.
Oh
So
yeah, I've been there. I'm still trying, man.
we can guarantee you probably fish for one, but we can't guarantee they're going to bite. So
That's it. That's
that's
it. I
it.
mean, hopefully you can find one to drop a bait on. So, and then Norm, it's up to you. Don't mess it up.
Actually, the spot that I'm in, Zeke, the only 3-pounder I've ever caught on Eufaula came from this spot.
I know. I'm aware.
326.
I was going the next day, so that was my fish.
Hey, we never knew he was 3 pounds. He was on the bottom, and he come up and smoked that jig, and me and his partner run into each other twice trying to get the net out of the box. So, still there? Did I lose you again? Oh man.
All right, Brian, you there?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Sorry about that. We're having some
Okay.
internet issues at the shop. All right, I got some questions for you here to go through. Derek Segrist, and this is probably another Darren question, your brother. What is your optimum water temperature in the live well to keep fish alive? Do you run a thermometer in your live well?
I don't.
I
It's
don't either.
10 degrees cooler.
Than the water temp, the lake temp.
Yes. I think.
Perfect.
And I learned this from Charlie Bunning, great crappie angler.
Mm-hmm.
That's temperatures above 67 degrees, fish will start dying. So we try to keep that temperature 10 degrees cooler. Now, if you're catching them in 90-degree water, don't cool it off to 67 degrees. You'll shock the fish and you'll kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Another tip that we do, if it's hot, cool the water off early in the morning. Very first thing, get the most oxygenated water, cleanest water that you can get, right at daybreak, because anybody that knows that the coldest hour of the day is right when the sun comes up. If you've ever deer hunted before, sitting in a tree stand, you know this is the coldest hour of the day, and the water temperature is this as low as it'll possibly be. Then fill those live wells up, and take you extra ice, and add handfuls of ice every hour, every 2 hours to keep that temperature regulated at 10 degrees cooler.
Smart to get a thermometer. It's something I'm definitely going to add to the boat for next year.
Yeah.
But 10 degrees cooler than the lake temp, guys. So it's a great
Yep.
tip. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. Brian, stay on here. Everybody else, stay on here. Quick commercial break, guys, and we will be right back with the Hype Man Show.
You're looking to buy fishing electronics, huh? Are you also looking for true experts to help guide you through it? Well, at the Bass Tank, you've come to the right place. We are live forward-facing sonar pioneers with thousands of hours spent learning through winning trophies, cashing checks, and just having fun. Whatever brand you need, we have it. We offer free shipping, and we have 2 financing options available. Our experts are here to help you. Call us today or visit thebasstank.com.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, guys. Had to show off some of John's bass catches in that commercial.
He had a good year.
He did. He had a great year, man. We're all stoked for him. Okay, Wesley Miller. Yeah, he says I put belly weights on every fish every time. I agree with that. I mean, it's definitely not going to hurt anything. If our fish are healthy and vertical, upright, and nose down, then I kind of let it be a game time decision a lot of the times, whether I weight them or not. So, Chad Turner's on here. What's going on, Chad? Thanks for jumping on, dude. Scott Pace, man, appreciate you. Nick Daywolf, good afternoon to you, man. Looked like you. Did you see, Brian, these guys that had this ACC crappie sticks little getaway?
Well, I didn't see it. Where'd they go?
Oh, man. I think they went to Toledo Bend, which is somewhere I need to go. Have you been to Toledo Bend?
I have not. I know it makes you fall look like a pond, though. And I've heard great things about it, and I keep expecting one of our tournament trails to go down there. But
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't think it'll be long. It's a huge lake, over 100,000 acres, jack full of timber. So that's my favorite thing to do. I can't wait to get down there. Yeah, Norm, lots of pressure on you. I know that you're going out with Brian and with Dylan to hopefully catch you a 3-pounder. Those are 2 guys that can do it. John Stokes, what's going on, man? Thanks for jumping on. Hey, Brian, I want to shift topics a little bit now and talk. I know that you are one of the few guys still out there. Not one of the few. There's a lot that still do it, but you're one of the guys out there that still spider rigs. Tell us a little bit about, because I haven't spider rigged in years. I used to pre-live scope. I would call it ghetto spider rigging because I didn't have the fancy rod holders and everything. I'd just line up rods across the deck of the boat and kind of slow cruise around. But I never really learned that technique fully. What are some of the environmental factors that you see or reasons that you choose to spider rig instead of single pole?
Well, we would always, and as a guide, we still do it. We want to put you in the area where the most fish are. Now, if on a guide trip, I always ask them, what are we looking for? What's our goal today? What are you wanting to do? Because this is your trip. You're paying for it. And if it's a live scope trip, yeah, we do that. We all know that. But if I want to kick back, I want to catch some fish, and I want to crappie fish. And we use live scope to still find those good areas, but we don't stare at the screen. You better look at the poles, because we got multiple poles. I had a trip out the other day. I had 3 guys in my boat. We had 8 rods out the front, 4 rods out the back. And we were in areas where, the shad were up on the shelf. We come right off the first drop off, and there was pods of crappie in 6 and 8s. And we didn't really kill them, but they had a good day. We caught lots of fish, and catching lots of fish is fun. And it doesn't matter if you're spider rigging, flipping a cork, two poling, whatever. If you're catching fish, man, it's fun. I still love the crappie fish. I love live scoping, but I love the crappie fish. And multiple poles set up. Um, and a lot of misconception about, you've got that many rods out, you're not going to fish structure and things like that. Well, some of the best days, and Reggie can attest to this, I know he's watching. I put him on a stake bed one day, and we pulled up there. It was hot. We had a 16th ounce jig head with a minnow, and that's all we had, with 8 14-foot BGJPs. Pull up there on that bed, and we caught 57 crappie off of one spot with those multiple poles. And especially with my wife Kara, she loves the spider rig. She does not like live scope at all. So when I take her fishing, we're going fishing, we're spider rigging, or we're flipping a cork. That's what we're doing. So that's just some of the things that we kind of look for when we're deciding to do a spider rigging trip.
I love it, because there are plenty of days that I go out now and I kind of want to be lazy. Not that spider rigging is lazy. That's not what I mean. I want to kick back and just not have to stare at the screen all day. What's cool about how Brian does it, I saw a video of him and Reggie maybe yesterday, and Brian's able to put 2 clients up on the front of the boat, sitting down, comfortable in chairs, and they're watching the rods while Brian's in the back of the boat with his remote for the trolling motor, so he can control the boat and let the clients catch all the fish. So that's huge. I think we lost Brian again here. He's out on the water, so we'll see if we can get him back. But guys, like Brian was talking about, it doesn't matter how you catch them. Get out there, fish, and whatever is fun, just have fun with it. I know guys want to say, oh, the only way to do it is one pole and live scope or active target or whatever the case may be. But there's no right or wrong way to catch fish. We get you back, Brian? No, we got no audio from you. I'm going to kick you off again and then hit the link. We'll see if we can get Brian back here. Now, Scott Pace, Gunnersville in Alabama, I agree with you. That's definitely a kind of a bucket list lake for me. Surprised that I haven't hit it yet. But traveling with tournaments and stuff. There he is. I got you back now, Brian.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. Scott Pace was saying he hopes we get over to Gunnersville sometime in Alabama. You ever fish Gunnersville?
Yes, sir. It's phenomenal. There's Grenada, and in my opinion, there's Gunnersville.
Really?
Except they're big blacks and big whites.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Is it a timber lake, brush pile lake?
It's a river system. It's a river system. Yeah,
okay.
All them lakes in Alabama are river systems, and Alabama's got some phenomenal crappie fishing. Oh man,
I gotta get over there. When you go to a river, I'll ask you a question here. When you go to a river system lake such as Gunnersville, and you're breaking it down on a map, what are you looking for? What's the first thing you're looking for?
Feeder creeks. Probably feeder creeks would be the best thing. And depending on what time of year, first time ever on Gunnersville, the very first fish we caught was a 232. And then the next fish was like a 220. And we get out of there and shoot. This was just like, very early stages of live scope. And the guys that won it, they were weighing 16 pounds a day. And we thought that was just phenomenal, before, you and Dylan did what y'all did last spring in Grenada, but with, 16, 18, 19 pounds of crappie is just it's just phenomenal. It's just a fantastic day. And, there was a tie for big fish on that lake. There was 5 big fish. They all weighed 285. And I think 4 of them were white crappie, and the rest of them were black crappie. And then there was a 3 1/4 caught, and it was a black crappie. That was the big fish in the tournament.
That is my next trophy fish, and I guess I need to go to Gunnersville to do it. A 3-pound black crappie.
Man, I don't know where we're going to go to do it, Zeke, but
I don't either.
it's on my. I think that one's going to be tough for us.
Oh yeah.
I want a 3-pound hybrid, and I want a 3-pound black crappie.
I've got a hybrid in Oklahoma, a 3-pound hybrid, 332 it was, and I've got a 3-pound white crappie, several of those, but a 3-pound black, man. I mean, I love catching black crappie because of the way they fight. You almost feel like you got sand bass on.
That's right.
Blast to catch. So, but yeah, Gunnersville Lake, guys, check it out. I'm definitely gonna have to get there. Brandon Boyd, I think he said this when we were talking about spider rigging. He said, "I miss it. Real crappie fishing. I mean, LOL." We know you're a one polar, Brandon. Don't try to confuse us. Reggie jumped on when you were talking about catching 57 off that one spot. Action was so fast on the 4 rods. I had tried leaving one rod out the water. The bite was that good.
Yeah.
Couldn't even have all the rods in the water hooking up.
My favorite way to spider rig is a 16th ounce jig, 6 pound test line, 14-foot BGJP, and tip it with a wax worm during the spawn, and go through a stump field. That was typical Caps and Coleman's signature, and it is just, they nailed it with all the products that they were able to have lots of input that they have now. It was just, it's my favorite way to catch them, and it happens that time of year, April, about month of April, and the first 2 weeks in May, on those shallow flats in 3 to 4 foot of water on those stump fields. It's just those big females get up in there, laying those eggs, and it's phenomenal, man. It's fun.
That makes me think of, because there's a crappie masters tournament coming up in Florida on the St. Johns River, and I know that there's still a lot of teams to get on there in spider rig exactly what you're talking about. That shallow up on the flats in the stumps.
That stumps, and the vegetation is so thick that they can't pick them out with live scope.
Yeah.
And so they're saying, we know those fish are in there, and they're going to come out and eat our bait. And when we put it above them, when we, get away from the fish, and they're a little more spooky. Florida's a different animal. I was born in Florida and fished in Florida, but I've never went back and competed in a crappie tournament in Florida. So, but it's on our bucket list.
Yeah, me too. It's a long haul. I think it's like a 22 hour drive for us from here to get there. So
yeah, Diesel wants to go. He mentioned Florida to go to that one. I said, when you get old enough to drive, help me drive that far, we'll go.
That makes a lot of sense. He ain't getting too far. How old is he now?
He's 13. About
13.
3 years he'll be driving, and he'll be helping me guide probably.
Give him about 1.5 years. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley, man, I know Wesley's got this awesome tournament going on, him and Justin at Bistineau Lake in Louisiana. He's saying it's not too late to make it. We can leave now, Brian.
Man, what a beautiful lake. We got to stay at. We stayed over. That's where we stayed when we fished the Red River, was over Bistineau. And
yeah,
man, what a gorgeous lake. Cypress trees. Oh man, black crappie.
Big fish too. I wish I could make it. I'll be hunting this weekend, to be honest with you. So I'll be down in your neck of the woods, Brian.
I know you will.
Scott Pace, talking about Gunnersville. Just what Brian said. Creeks off the main river. Depending on time of year, those fish are going to be up the creek or more out in the mouths. But that's definitely any new river that I go to. I agree with Brian. That's where I'm going to start looking. Those creeks and the mouths of those creeks working secondary channels, if you will.
Yep.
2.8 black. Scott's caught a 2.8 black out there in Gunnersville. I got to check it out, man. Reggie's asking a question here for you, Brian. Breaking down a new lake, where does the guy start? Creeks or main lake? And do you decide creeks or main lake, and do you decide where to start? Then you get the first two spots and nothing there. What does the guy do now?
Well, there's lots of different theories on this thing, and number one, depending on what type of lake it is. Is it a deep and clear lake? Is it a shallow muddy lake? Is it a stained lake? Is it a river system? Um,
Lost you, Brian. Lost audio with Brian again. We'll see if we can get him back and he can finish answering that question. It's a great question. And, you know, you go to your first two spots and there's no fish. You've probably chosen two different patterns to go look at. It's time to break out all the tricks and think outside the box is what I do. Rely on instinct as well as knowledge. Don't ever underestimate just your natural instincts you have as an angler. And I don't care what level of fisherman you are, everybody's got that innate ability to some extent to
got you
help
back.
fish. Yep, got you back, Brian.
Okay. What type of lake it is, deep and clear, stain, river system. First thing we do is get on Google Maps and we take a look at it. You're gonna do your homework before you even get there. You can win or lose a tournament before you even get there. So write stuff down. I use the notes app on my phone and I write things down. And I get on the internet and do a little research about the lake. Most of the tournament trails and things like that stuff is legal. It's like, Zeke, we fished the expo. We weren't able to share or talk any information about any of the fishing on the Red River. So it was we just had to wing it and had to go out there. And when you get to the lake, what I do is I just take it easy, get out there and fish and just idle around and get kind of acclimated to the body of water that you're on. Don't just take off and go 90 miles an hour when you're not familiar. You won't be fishing very long. You'll tear something up. And I'll be honest with you, most of the tournaments, the very first day when you're idling around, taking your time and just going fishing, you'll find some of your best spots on the first day. Now, if you get to those places and think, man, this is a very good area and I don't see them here, then start moving around, covering water. That first day when you're on there idling around, maybe you'll see some locals running around the lake, and pay attention to where they're running, pay attention to where they're idling. And that kind of gives you got to have some sort of peace of mind before you get the boat on plane, take off, and then actually can settle in and start really looking for those fish. The second thing we use is mapping. I know with Zeke, we had this conversation about the Red River. I contacted you about a mapping card for my unit. The lakes are preloaded in those units, and Hummingbird's great, Lawrence is great, Garmin's great. They're all doing a fantastic job of giving us great mapping of different lakes, and some are better than others with special features that you like and dislike. But those lake maps showing you where the channel is, showing you where standing timber is, showing you where hazards are, things like that, is very, very important. So those are some of the things that we consider before we even get to the lake, and then the first day that we're on it. And then once you're there and you get acclimated to it, then you can go fishing. You can really start dialing in those fish and I'm a big pattern guy. I always have been, even with live scope. I love mapping. I love to put together patterns, because if it's a 100-boat tournament, there may be some guys in your spot, and you got to have multiple spots. And I'm not really a spot guy. I'm more of a pattern guy. So I get on that map even during the tournament hours and find new fish each day. So maybe
Absolutely agree, man. I love what you said about when you go to a new lake. What he was talking about was about watching, where locals are running and idling, and it's not about getting spots from them. It's about how to run the lake safely. And that's what Brian was talking about. I'll spend my first day of practice, the first few hours anyway, just figuring out how to run the lake, because I know that if I can find a shortcut somewhere here or there on tournament day, that might save me an hour, might give me an extra hour of fishing, because I can go on pad and not have to idle, make a long idle somewhere. Or I might find out that I can't go on pad where I thought I could, and I have to idle, and that's going to save my boat, which is going to save my whole, trip. So great tips there. Kim Burnett, what's going on, man? Jerry Graham's on here, Brian. He must have just jumped on. He said, is Brian on the water right now? We're all a little jealous. Brian, we're coming to a close here. I want to ask you one more question, and I ask everybody I have on about this. Tournament fishing at the national level,
See if we get a lot.
you've got a lot of experience of. Most trails, click off real quick, Brian. Shannon, there you go. You guys know where I'm going with this. If you watch my show at all, hopefully I can get Brian back here for one last question. The classic live bait versus artificials. Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, it's still staticky. Hang on a second.
Yeah, it's staticky. Live bait versus artificial only at the national tournament. We may have lost Brian, guys, but appreciate him getting on. Appreciate all you guys getting on and watching the show. We're going to cut this short just a few minutes, but I will try to get him back on next week just briefly to get his response to that question. And I want to be clear about something, because I've gotten a few questions about it. It's not solely about supporting bait companies or, artificial bait companies. It's not solely what it's about. It's about the competitive side of things at a national level. If you're spending the time and money, resources to go out there and do this, you're a competitive person. And we've got tools at our disposal now, electronics at our disposal now, where we can put a bait right in a fish's face. So I love the idea of going artificial only at the national level. Clubs, I will never say that. Let's allow minnows, encourage participation, and get as many people involved as we can. Guys, to close up, Brian Young, ACT National Champion 2020. If you guys don't know, he fishes Crappie Masters as well with his 13-year-old son, which I think is awesome. Diesel is his name. The kid's a heck of an angler, and he fishes the ACT with his older brother, Darren. So thanks to Brian for jumping on today. Wesley, I'm with you there. I agree with you. We're on the same page. But guys, thanks for watching again. Thank you to the Bass Tank, Beat Down Outdoors, Garmin Electronics for sponsoring the show. And stay tuned next week, guys. I have got an awesome guest, and I'm super excited about next week. A lot of y'all know who he is, and I'll just go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Mr. Hook City TV himself, Kenneth Pierce. If you guys don't know Ken Pierce, check out Hook City TV on Facebook and on YouTube. He pumps out some awesome content. He's done videos. I've done a video with him. I think John's done a video with him. But check out Hook City TV. He's going to be on with me next week, live, same time, same place, 2:00 Thursday. So guys, thanks for watching, and I look forward to next week.